This episode of the Nerd Corporation podcast may contain spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, this is Paul Nakauchi, the voice of Hanzo, and you're listening to the Nerd Corporation podcast.
Welcome to the Nerd Corporation.
What up, everybody? It's Thursday, and you know what that means.
We're gonna come vibe with you.
Okay.
No inclination beforehand that you even had anything to say. You just busted that out.
I mean, you could. Wherever you are, whenever you are.
I'm older now. I don't like it. I just recently became older, and I'm not into it. I don't want to.
I have
slow it down.
A short precautionary tale for all of you.
Don't age.
One day, if you have the inclination to criticize Final Fantasy VI in any way, shape, or form, just don't do it.
You got run through the fucking ringer.
I did. Just because I don't really like that game. And yeah, it just wasn't fun at all. Like, there was it on Utah Gamers where the guy was like, I want a comprehensive list of every JRPG that you've ever played, because if you think that the battle system in this game is hard to understand, then you shouldn't be playing JRPGs. And I'm like, it'd probably be easier to tell you the JRPGs that I haven't played. You know, like, it's... Oh, God, dude. And then there was, like, another...
Because there's maybe, like, 5 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, gatekeeping neckbeards is always...
Right?
Shall not pass.
It's always gonna be a thing, like...
Oh, bro. It was so funny, because I knew I was fucking... I was slinging shit where I knew I was slinging shit in the chapel with that one. Like, I shouldn't have done it. But, I sat down, I woke up the other day and I was like, fuck it. I'm going to give it a chance. Because the only time I ever played it was I had a shitty mobile port of it, and I got pretty far in that version of it. But, like, the pixel art's all fucked up in that game, and, like, obviously it's touchscreen.
Yeah.
And, like, I just was like, alright, I want the authentic Super Nintendo version. It came on the NES, or the Super NES Mini.
You tried to be so quiet!
Sorry.
It's all good.
You tried to be so quiet, and then just BAM!
It came pre-installed on the SNES
Oh,
Mini,
God.
and I just haven't played it. I've been playing the objectively superior game, which is Chrono Trigger. A lot more than that game. And I played that game for like an hour, and I'm like, this isn't fun. This just, like, I'm not having fun. So I turned it off, and I was like, at the end of the day, it's a shame for me, because I don't get to experience this the way that other people do, and I'm just, like, not seeing it.
Well, so I was saying earlier to Eddie that I was recently playing and gave up on Skyrim.
Which no one will blame you for.
Nope.
No one.
Oh, okay.
Were you playing it on the Switch, too?
Yeah. So, but get this, because I feel like this is probably the absolutely most appropriate comparison I can make between the fucking horse. Riding a fucking horse in this game is like... Do you remember on Toy Story 2? Do you remember the horse? And it's all like flopping all the fuck around. Like, that's the fucking horse.
In the packing peanuts.
Yeah, dude. Like when he's running, he's just like flailing, like legs everywhere. Like
Look,
that's what riding the fucking horse is in this game.
Skyrim was a great...
I laughed out loud.
It was
when
a great
I
game when it
wrote
came out, but please, if you're still playing Skyrim in 2019 going into 2020,
Play something else.
please play something else.
Because like
please,
my friend
please.
lent it to me, and I was like, yeah,
You've had
I'll,
that game
I'll give it.
forever,
I did.
Are you sure
And-
he didn't just give it to you at this point? Like, here, take this.
I gave it back today, but like,
So you were like, here, take this.
no, so like, because he was like, look, dude, no, just keep it for now and fucking like just play it a little bit more, get past the first dragon, and do a couple of things and see how you think
It's a
or how you feel
religion
about
to
it.
some people, bro.
See how you feel about it. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. So I got past the first dragon and everything, and then I was going around and I was just like, this feels so aimless. Like there's just everything is so expansive and placed so far apart that it's not fun. It's a fucking chore.
Like I said, at the time that game was great, but and not only that, like if the only viable way I see of playing Skyrim in 2019 going into 2020 is on the Switch, because like it has that entire experience on the go.
Yeah.
And if that isn't doing it for you, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no, I
that
didn't like the combat either.
that I loved when that game came out, because I didn't get it right away, but I think I bought it with Christmas money, because it came out in November of 2011, because 11/11/11 is when it came out, and I bought it with Christmas money that Christmas, the following Christmas, and I just, because it was like their next big ambitious game.
Oh my god,
you go from Fallout to Skyrim, and I remember playing the old Fallout games where the one thing my only gripe with those games is if you were running straight, the animation was fine, but if you were to go run in a diagonal, your animation would still be running straight, but you would be going diagonal. But like the animation of the movement in Skyrim, when I first started playing that game, I was like, oh my god, like this is a little thing to me, but to me
That's
it's huge.
the first time I played that game is I broke my leg, right? I had an issue with my leg, and so I
take an arrow to the knee.
You went hard on that game.
I
Fuck.
was hard, dude. I
Took
was
an
high.
arrow to the knee.
He did.
I was high as fuck on painkillers, roaming the land of Skyrim. I don't know
He thought he was the Dragonborn.
Yeah.
if you don't dig it now, you won't ever dig it.
Yeah, I mean it's all right. It's certainly not
And
terrible.
you say that you don't like the combat. You don't like going hiya, floaty air fucking.
Well, no, because I mean
it's so dumb.
it is, but like also
And it's dumb in Fallout.
you
too.
could be staring like right at an enemy right in front of you and hack at him, and if you're just 1 degree further to the right than it wants you to be, you whiff it. And and I'm like, are you fucking? He's right fucking in front of me.
Bethesda.
That's like
yeah,
a trademark of Bethesda. No other games do it like that.
Hated that bullshit. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's why guns work so well in Fallout, is because there's that tactile response that you get from firing the gun and seeing. You know what I mean? That's why Fallout is objectively the better title.
It is.
And I recently got the trial for not Game Pass, PlayStation Now.
Before anybody says anything else, it's podcast day.
Oh, I forgot we were doing
God,
that.
we went forever.
Yeah.
On that one.
Get ready. Welcome to episode 69.
Nice.
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 Welcome to episode 69. Welcome to Rapture. We're going to be talking about the very first Bioshock and all of the cool things within. But anyway, continue.
Oh no, I was just saying because they dropped the price. I'm not even reading anything. Fuck me.
They dropping the price.
Very nice. They dropped the
James.
Would you like some flight lice?
They dropped the price of the PlayStation Now from its god awful.
Which is a fucking steal at this point.
No, I
$10
got
a
it.
month.
I got it.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I saw that, I'm like, all right, I can get this now. I can afford
$60 a year, perfect. Mm-hmm. That's the perfect service to just drop $60 on and then just forget that you ever had it.
Well, they're trying to fucking squash Stadia like right now, like with the what is it, Project X that's coming out soon
for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Cloud X or something like that. It's their streaming.
Yeah, and then like PlayStation Now dropping their prices. I'm afraid I pre-ordered the thing.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, and you know what's kind of cool though is that in smaller news, which is really big news actually, Red Dead Redemption 2 got announced for PC and is a Google Stadia launch title.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So that's pretty big.
That is way cool.
Anyway, Nick, you were saying?
But yeah, so I got that, and I was just because I think I'm still in the trial stages of it, because you get it free for a week, and then if you cancel it, it's fine. If you don't then you just keep it, which I'm keeping it. But
Yeah.
I was looking through, and they, like, I didn't realize how many fucking games they had on there. Like, it's
Really?
insane. Like, they got, obviously their big news was they put God of War and Uncharted 4 on there. But they have, like, Tekken 7. They have, I'm playing New Vegas on it, like, on my PS4.
that's dope.
Lots of PS3 games
Yeah.
down there.
But I was leading into speaking of Fallout. I was playing New Vegas the other night, and I had gone into VATS to shoot a raider, and I forgot that the bullet size to gun ratio when your bullets pop out of the gun are way too big. Like, it looks like a shotgun shell's coming out of my pistol when I'm shooting it.
Yeah, the only thing that with PS Now that I feel like is an issue is like it just kind of feels like too little too late. Where it's like, you know, they added God of War and Uncharted 4, and it's like, hey, well, everybody's already played those. You know,
I'm playing God of
besides
War
you.
again through PS Now. Like,
It's definitely worth it for the people that haven't played it. But like for the hardcore that, you know, like want to definitely hardcore the people that definitely would invest in that time and that money.
and the
It's
other
like
thing
those
that's
games
great
are
about it
done.
though that I think is, so with those newer games that they added, you have the option to stream it, which the streaming is actually like seamless. Like it's
gotten a lot
it's
better.
amazing. Or you can actually just download the game. Like
Cool. So it's like it's almost like a Game Pass
On
for PlayStation.
PS4 titles only.
Yeah.
It doesn't work
okay.
for PS3.
So I downloaded like God of War, and I'm like replaying it again because I don't know, I must have deleted it from my cloud saves because I have to start it over. But I'm like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So I'm
Dude, I
going through it
platted
again.
that game.
Yeah, you did. I was going through your platinums the other day, and I was like, what the fuck? He's platinum god, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, my proudest one I think is fucking still is Mortal Kombat, dude.
You know, my
Mine's
next...
got to be Detroit because that was a son of a bitch to get.
I bet, dude.
My
I
God.
bet.
My next conquest for my platinum is 2016's Doom.
Oh,
dang.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm very excited because you only have to beat the first level on Ultra Nightmare, and then after that, it's pretty much just collectibles.
Oh, that's crazy.
So yeah, and just to get all hyped for the new one that's coming out in a month.
That's
Fucking
on
Doom.
PlayStation now too.
Doom,
I might have to
yeah.
look into that, dude. I might have to.
Doom 2016 was a fucking gem, bro. Like
Yeah.
dude, that game's soundtrack just pumps testosterone into you.
I know
so
we were-
good.
Go!
I know we were
Fuck
talking about
yeah.
the Switch earlier, but I can't afford to get it yet. But Dragon Quest XI dropped on the Switch,
I have it
and
downstairs.
they have the first 3 remade on the Switch.
So I bought 3. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
I do like that they remastered
just
it.
the screenshots look amazing.
They look really good. Yeah, I went like on a buying spree. I bought that Blasphemous game, which looks dope. I bought River City Girls, which I'm really excited to play. I bought that one, the Dragon Quest 3, and then I think I bought one more, but I can't remember what it was.
And I haven't played it yet, but I did buy Untitled Goose Game. I'm probably gonna play
did
it
ya?
tonight.
You have to tell me how it is.
Oh,
I bought Nino Kuni for the Switch,
Nice.
and I started
That's
playing...
on PlayStation now.
Yes.
So
Only on the PlayStation 3 version, though.
well, yeah, I mean,
Which is fine.
Yeah, that's because I was gonna buy that game, but I saw it on PS Now, and I was like, I'll just play this.
Don't buy it on Switch, because it does not run very well.
No.
Well, so when it does run, it's impeccable. Looks like the PS4 version, just because that art style is so distinct and so easy to replicate on just like not even a 1080p screen. Dude, that game, like running on handheld mode is fucking incredible. That Ghibli art style just absolutely shines through that screen. However, the game has crashed on me 4 times.
Jesus.
This
And
is this is the Wrath of the White Witch.
Yes, this is the port of the first game on Switch, I should say, and it really fucking frustrated me because I was like halfway through this dungeon and then it just bing. I'm like, all right, guess I'll A, go fuck myself, and B, play Link's Awakening.
Dude, I had a similar thing happen to me. So they on Steam, they had this game for they have certain games that they'll do where you can play it for free for a weekend, and then you can buy it at like a discounted price. And I had seen, before he started playing Classic WoW, I had seen Shroud play this game like a lot, and I was like, this looks fucking fun. It's called Battalion 1944.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, it's free. I'll play it. So I get into the game, menu screen opens up, and I can't click on anything.
Yeah.
Like, I have this video that I'll show you later, but I'm sitting there like clicking on, matchmaking, nothing happens. I get on the forums, and it's just like nobody has a fix for it. And then one guy says, oh, you have to just go Alt-Enter and minimize it, and then go into the options and change your resolution. And so I did that, and it started to work. But I was like freaking out because I'm like, why can't I fucking play this game?
Technology, man.
We have a lot to catch up on. We probably might not get through all of it, but one of the things I wanted to touch on was that beloved horror character Sid Haig has passed away. For those that don't know him, he is mostly known for playing Captain Spaulding in the Rob Zombie House of a Thousand Corpses series. He did House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects. He'll be in 3 from Hell. Funny thing though was when I was researching him, he was in a bunch of like blaxploitation movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's got a long list of stuff that he did that not a lot of people know about, just because they just know him from, House of a Thousand and Devil's Rejects. And I read it wasn't really an interview, but it was just like a post that was going around from Rob Zombie where he was talking about him, and he was like, that 3 from Hell is like his last movie, and he's like, he's saying how he could tell that he was, even though he was like not even close to 100%, he was just like, no, we gotta finish this movie. Like, we have to do. Like, he didn't just be like, oh, I can't do this. He was like, nope, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, he was a total badass.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a stand-up dude.
Yeah.
he was in Foxy Brown with Pam Grier.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was in Foxy Brown, and not only that, he was also in the Tarantino adaptation, Jackie Brown, opposite Pam Grier both times.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that movie in years, but
He was in what was it, Coffee, and like just like a bunch of really like prominent blaxploitation films.
Interesting.
So rest in peace to Sid Haig.
We lost a good one, boys.
Yeah, we did.
The Last of Us Part 2 has a release date.
It does.
2/21/20.
That's 4 days before my birthday,
And
y'all.
11 days before Final Fantasy VII.
God
Consider
damn
me
it.
fucked.
yep.
Thank God it's a Friday, so, it'll be alright. I'll just try to play it in a weekend, which is fine. Like, I'm expecting that game to be just a hair under 25 hours.
Yeah, it should be.
Is a good, just a good kind of, middleman.
You've been right so far.
Yeah, fuck. So, I was kind of wrong, but I was mostly right. It looks like
Humble bitch.
my whole thing was that the religious cult was playing a factor and, like, killed Dina because of she was gay, but apparently that's not the thing. I think it's just like some raiders, or it might actually be the new faction that they announced with the WOL or something like that. They basically reside in Seattle, and if you're not from Seattle, they're like very xenophobic about it. Like if you're not from Seattle, they'll just straight up fucking kill you. Which is kind of it's cool. It's it seems like they're
I'm
kind
from
of
Seattle. Look at my soul patch.
yeah. I like the rain.
Here's my guitar.
I
Is this
saw Nirvana
organic?
in 91.
Is this organic?
They seem to be like the new Fireflies.
Yeah.
Which is cool. They showed off dogs. Dogs are a new mechanic in the game.
Oh, really?
They said that you're going to be killing a lot of dogs in this game.
They're really trying to push the envelope.
Yeah, well, not only to push back that Druckmann came out and said you don't have to kill any dogs. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Well,
so I would imagine that if you kill all their owners, they just run away. So I don't know how it works at all, but it's pretty wild because, and I totally fucking forgot that this was a mechanic in the original game that you can, I think it's like you hold L2 or L1 and then like you get like the Like, you can, like, see through walls and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Kind of like when you could hear with Joel.
Yeah. So that is obviously returning in part 2, but this time they add, like, a little scent trail, so the dogs you can see, like, the little pathway that the dogs are going to take.
I think people just don't want John Wick after him.
Probably. What else? So I was kind of right. Looks like part of it is, like, all of the stuff that Druckmann was saying was like, hey, how far would you go to avenge someone that you love?
Right.
And not only that, but, like, almost kind of, like, not really avenge, but, like, to right the wrong. You know what I mean? So maybe Dina's not dead. Maybe Dina is, like, fucked up in a way. Because he's saying, like, the promotional, like, all the trailers and all the promotional art and everything like that just makes it seem like this game is going to be dark as fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm so fucking here for it.
Oh.
Like, the collector's edition comes with this little... It looks like a fucking diploma from high school. And it opens up and it says just this little nod from Naughty Dog and Druckmann and just saying, like, hey, thanks for being on this journey with us and shit. And it has all that information about how, like, hey, how do you feel... How far would you go to avenge someone that you love and such and such. The Ellie edition is absolutely fucking sold out in a way that says, hey, fuck you, you're never going to get this, like, ever, unless you pay $3,000 on eBay. The collector's edition seems to be a lot more obtainable. I've seen it come up and down, like, come up on Amazon. I've seen it come up on Best Buy and, like, just instantaneously gone. Jesus. Like, it's fucking weird.
I don't know if I'm even gonna try for that with 7 taking all of the money that I don't have.
Yeah.
I might just get the... Can you get, like, a steelbook? Just...
Yes, it's
I might,
$70.
I'm probably just gonna go with that.
It's on Amazon right now. I would imagine that there's going to be like a special edition console for either one of those games, and I'm kind of factoring that maybe I'm alright with not getting the Ellie edition just to get, that console.
Dude, I don't understand why people are so butthurt about the multiplayer.
So, I see it as a bummer, but at the same time, I don't really, because the fact that it's not there is really kind of promising and really exciting. Because The Last of It, they came out and said, hey, it's not totally gone. So my mind is immediately going to launch multiplayer game for the PS5. Now you're thinking, oh, that's kind of a stretch. Not really. Once you think, like, all the shit that they've been saying about, hey, it's going to come later, blah, blah, blah. They really, really need, like, a PlayStation-only exclusive multiplayer game for the PlayStation 5. Everyone wants it to be a shooter, but what if it's just a revamped version of Factions? You know what I mean? It sounds cool to me. And there's different teams inside of Naughty Dog. They're not working on Uncharted anymore, so I would imagine that obviously the main team... You alright?
Goddamn dog.
Obviously, the main team's working on The Last of Us Part 2 and working on these incredible, single player, first player experiences, storytelling and shit. But it would kind of make a lot of sense if they dedicated one of their teams to just doing something wholly The Last of Us all the time. Because that's kind of like a depressing note, is once you start thinking, like, okay, after The Last of Us, they don't have anything. And if I have it my way, this is going to be the last Last of Us game that we get. I really, really hope that they tie everything up with a nice, pretty little bow and then kind of just don't go near it for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, don't Uncharted this. Like, just... 2 is... What a fucking world we would live in if 2 just ended it. Like, I still kind of was like, alright, the first one ended, it's such a... I totally had the word, but it just flew out of my mind. It left on a good note where it was like, okay, we don't need to explore this anymore. Like, it's fine. But then, part 2 got announced. I bawled like a bitch. I'm totally happy with it. So that I'm losing my point here. But basically, it's like, I would have been totally fine without a sequel to The Last of Us, but now I'm fucking ecstatic that we're getting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But people like tripartition.
Yeah.
So we do things in threes. That's how,
what the fuck is
that's
Naughty
how
Dog
life
going to do
works.
after The Last
I
of
don't
Us?
know.
Because they can't go back to... Because there's rumblings around that there's a San Diego team that's doing an Uncharted game. So what the fuck are they going to do? You know? Like, and they make games on a scale of, like, 4 to 5 years from here. So I'm just wondering what's next, you know?
Speaking of like continuations of games, we're getting a new Resident Evil game.
I don't want to talk about
In
it.
quotes, it's called Project Resistance. It's in the same vein of like Dead by Daylight. And like Evolve and shit like that, where you either play survivors or you play a mastermind. I saw GameSpot do some gameplay of it, and it doesn't look bad.
It looks like it's running off of RE2's engine,
It is running off of RE2,
which seems to be the only good thing going for it.
Well, I mean, I've seen the gameplay. Well, you play as survivors, right? And you have to just follow through this area.
It sounds like
and survive.
a revamp of. Did you ever play Outbreak? On
No.
the PS2?
That's what everybody wanted it to be. They wanted it to be an Outbreak.
And-
either sequel or reboot.
And so, but like as the mastermind, you're planting zombies in people's way. You're planting mines and foot traps and shit like that. And then, like, after a while, and after so many points, you can summon Mr. X. And the cool thing about it is that it's not just like, here, let's send these zombies and dogs and shit on their way. You can actually control the pieces you put on.
Yeah.
So you'll get into the zombie and you can like slash and grab, or you can get into Mr. X and grab someone by the face and pop their head off. To me, I think it's kind of promising. I just really I don't think they needed to put the Resident Evil name on it.
So, by the way, did you hear that Forever Entertainment is remaking the first two The House of the Dead games?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of like
Good
one of those
luck
games
remaking
that...
those without a railgun.
Right?
Yeah, no shit.
According to some Polish website, Grandpospolita, I guess.
Sounds legit.
Let's see. They've stated Forever Entertainment, the same devs behind the upcoming Panzer Dragoon remakes, have stated that their next project will be remaking the first two entries in the House of the Dead series. They're going to have new graphics, adapted to, current standards, slightly modified gameplay, but will, quote unquote, fully preserve the original scenario. They haven't announced any platforms or anything, or how they'll work with the light gun mechanics, but the first game's expected next year.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they'll have some, tidbits coming out.
So here's where I stand with Project Resistance.
Go on.
It's not my bag. So I don't feel like I can be critical of it.
And see, I love Dead by Daylight.
See, for the people that really love those games, I can imagine it's going to be great. Like, I feel like people are actually going to love it, and it's built on a really great engine. I really, really loved the way that RE2 handled combat. It's fast, or not really fast, but like the right amount of speed. It's very weighty. It's very, it's really good. So if they're throwing that in Project Resistance, I think it'll be good on a mechanical level. I'm just kind of disappointed that it wasn't Outbreak, and I'm kind of disappointed that it wasn't RE3.
Yeah.
That was really my only thing, because they gotta be working on.
Oh
RE3.
no, they
gotta
are,
be
dude. You
working
know
on it.
they're fucking, because ain't no way we're not gonna see a Nemesis in the next couple years.
I just like the real question on everybody's mind, I guess on my mind, is are we gonna see RE3 remake, or are we gonna see Resident Evil 8 first?
No, I think we might see 8 first.
So, speaking of Resident Evil, which I'll probably hold off, but that actually, for me, when I started playing Bioshock, I kind of had some PTSD from Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But I'll get into that later.
That's some post-traumatic Down syndrome.
I know, right? Pretty much.
Hot for the people that like it, but other than that, it's just not for me.
So, New York City Comic Con's in full swing.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of fucking reveals.
That
here.
Walking Dead renewed for season 25, huh?
Maggie's coming back.
Yeah, I saw that.
But
What?
Yeah.
What? Wasn't she dead? She's dead as fuck, bro.
No.
That's what I thought too, but I like
the
it's
show's
been
full of
so long.
zombies. I mean, come on.
Well, true.
But Dark Horse has revealed a bunch of new Game of Thrones, Metal Gear, and Witcher 3 statues.
Oh.
And they look amazing.
And there are some.
I mean, you
sick,
had me at Metal Gear.
There are some sick as fuck My Hero Academia Funkos that came out too, like a con
Luigi?
exclusive.
Yeah, Luigi Mansion is getting a statue.
Oh shit!
Did you see the Dark Horse Ellie statue
Mm-hmm.
that was sold out? Fucking poof, just gone. It's like, just no. You wanted it? No. Too bad, fucko.
So on to the subject of the hour. So we decided to get on Bioshock because Cole went and got Derek the collection. So Derek played it for the first time, and so we wanted to get a fresh perspective of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And
I actually forgot.
yeah,
Just kidding.
Fucking douche.
go play it again. Anyway, what did you think, Derek?
I thought it was fucking awesome.
Isn't it one of
Like,
just the
I had a
greatest
great
games?
time playing that game.
So, how did you feel about the lore of the game overall? Because you did a lot of the audiobooks, like I told
Yeah.
you to, right?
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about Andrew Ryan's rise and fall and basically the full spoilers for Bioshock, a game that came out 12 years ago?
Yeah.
So if you're still playing Skyrim and you haven't played Bioshock, then
You fucking deserve to get spoiled. I'll just say this right now. Like, you totally deserve everything that's about to happen.
so keep listening.
I mean, I thought it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. I mean, it's obviously a commentary on
It's a cautionary tale.
unfettered capitalism
Mm-hmm.
and what can occur if you just let somebody run rampant like that.
It's a cautionary tale of what's the fucking word? Libertarian. Like, it's a cautionary tale of a libertarian, like that idea that
Yeah.
no gods, no man, no gods, no kings, only man. Like, hey, we're not going to stifle your creative view. So like doctors came down there. Artists came down there, all kinds of people came down there with, it was basically no rules in
Right.
terms of how you wanted to conduct business, how you wanted to make money, how you wanted to make anything. Like, it was completely unfettered in how, in what you wanted to do. You could do whatever you wanted in Rapture.
It was a post-apocalypse without the danger.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
One of the things that I loved about the first game is, I mean, obviously you had the beginning video, where you're on the airplane having a cigarette and then the airplane crashes, but they did not beat around the bush. They didn't waste any time. You swam up to the entrance
yeah.
of Rapture and there you were. Like, there wasn't any exploring. You didn't have to find a secret entrance. I mean, it was just right there.
Like, hands down, one of the most memorable openings to a video game ever.
Especially looking at it now from 12 years ago, imagine 12 years ago you looking at this game.
Oh, dude, I would have fucking just.
I would have I cried.
What's crazy is that it doesn't look much better than what it already did on the 360 and
Yeah.
the PS3. Is like, obviously it benefits from 60 frames per second,
Right.
and I don't think it's 4K, but it's definitely touched up. But it doesn't appear to have much more already into it. Like, it was a very straightforward port. I know that they fixed some of the wonkiness. It still kind of plays a little rough, like clicking the stick to zoom in on your gun, which I bet you didn't ever do, ever.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's very kind of archaic. Like, Halo does that still to this day, but that's kind of part of Halo's DNA. But no other games do that at all.
No, you're always
So-
holding the shoulder button to zoom in.
Basically, basic gameplay is, you know, you have your right trigger is allocated to your guns, and your left trigger is allocated to your plasmids. Now, your plasmids are really fucking cool, and I want to know, like, which ones do you use the most? Which ones did you find the coolest?
So I primarily used the electricity and
That's your all-purpose tool right
And-
there. Is
and the
electricity.
fire.
The fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
those
so-
were my main.
What was your first thought when you came across a bunch of splicers and some water, and you're like, I'm gonna electrocute them?
Oh, dude! Like every time that happened, I was like, all right. Here
Well,
we go.
they
Oh,
kind
it's so
of they
It's
kind of tell you to do
satisfying
that at the
as
beginning
fuck.
of
Yeah,
the game.
exactly. Yeah.
It's so satisfying. It was great.
And it's kind of cool how they give you like little moments throughout the whole entirety of the game where it was like, okay, there's a little pool right here. Like
Yeah.
there were plenty of times where,
Little puddles of
Excuse me.
gasoline too.
yeah, there were plenty of times where like there's just a teeny little puddle right there, and I am getting my fucking dick chewed on by a big daddy. Yeah.
Eat that like Kobayashi.
And so it was really kind of nice to get that little extra damage.
Yeah.
You know, just
Oh,
by
yeah.
shocking them in a pool. I always really liked that shit. So you really only used electrocute and fire?
Well, I mean, those were my go-tos.
Mm-hmm.
I did just for fun do the one where you take over the big daddy.
Oh, it's essential.
Dude,
You
that
got
shit's
it.
uncomfortable sometimes.
I
when
was
you
just going
take
to ask
over-
you about that one.
You take over the Big Daddy, and he's like, "Okay, now what do you want me to do?"
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, bitch, get out of my face.
So during my
But then if you shoot him, he comes after you anyway.
yeah, so during my
Which I accidentally did once, and I was like, fuck!
during my Brass Balls playthrough, which is actually what I'm calling it because that's the name of the trophy that you get for beating the game on Survivor with no Vita Chambers.
Oh,
I was like, fuck the little sisters, because I already had the trophy, and I was like, I'm not going to use it. And then I started thinking about it, I was like, fuck, I kind of really need them, because I'm going to need the atom to like
Right.
upgrade my shit.
yeah.
So one of the more favorite things that I did during this playthrough is I'd hypnotize the Big Daddy, and then
Yeah.
I'd go start a fight with another Big Daddy. And so the little sister's just like, you know, like trying to stay the fuck out of the fight, but
Yeah.
it's like it's a Rosie fighting a Rosie,
Yeah.
Rosie's the one with the gun, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that one where you go to
Rosie
the
O'Donnell.
fisheries,
Oh,
it's
right,
pretty
right.
early on in the game. Yeah, that was like one of my favorite fucking things.
Dude,
is-
what I hated though was when like I'd be fighting a splicer and then like all of a sudden he'd like kind of run around the corner. I'd go over there like guns fucking blazing and there's a Big Daddy. I'm like, oh shit.
What weapons were your main ones?
I really like the machine gun.
Those anti-personnel rounds, man.
Oh,
They just
dude.
they get
When
you.
you
Well,
get a security bot chasing after you,
And
take it
the
down.
ones that I really loved for like the Big Daddies were the fire bolts.
okay.
Those fucking wrecked the Big Daddies.
Yeah, they do.
hard.
Yeah,
I was
they
just
do.
like, Jesus.
Especially if you shoot them in the head.
Oh
Fucking
yeah.
dude,
Well,
it
so
chunks
a
off
lot
there,
of
man.
times what I would do is I'd run up, lightning, the Big Daddy,
Uh-huh.
and then hurry and swap over to the bolt, shoot him a couple times with that, and then pull out the fucking flamethrower, and just stand there like, just like right in front of his ass, like,
Am
nah,
I
bitch.
remembering this wrong, or does lightning kind of like immobilize?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it like
Only
stuns him
for a split second,
Yeah,
though.
just a second.
But sometimes that's all you need.
Just enough time to line up a headshot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dude, I used my weapons were they were the machine gun, but mostly just for like the splicers.
Mhm.
But like for Big Daddies, dude, I used the shock rounds on the shotgun.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, those were
That
cool.
dude, that shit really helps out too, because it has that effect of the shock, and it just stops
If
them
you
for a
can,
second.
my thing to do, because I went in and I was playing it again on Steam. I didn't need to finish it because I'd already played it, you know.
Yeah,
My thing to do was just like pop splicers in the head with the Magnum pistol.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the only issue that I have with the pistol is that on harder difficulties, it basically becomes useless.
It's like a pea
Well,
shooter.
yeah.
I mean, like if you use the anti-personnel rounds, it's just fine. But like if you find yourself in a opportunity to use that gun, 9 times out of 10 I'm not going to use it. Like, I'd rather use something else.
So the only thing I kind of wished was a little bit different was the fact that, like, if you accidentally engage a Big Daddy, you're just stuck fighting him. Like, there's no...
They do not fucking forget.
Yeah,
they will chase
But,
you to the
well,
end of
the
the
thing
earth.
The good thing is, though, if you don't engage them, they won't engage you.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, but like...
Yeah, there are
those times where you just accidentally fire off at
It's
one.
fucking on. At that point,
and
they
there was
don't
this
leave
one
you
point
alone.
where, like, I accidentally engaged the Big Daddy and then, like, went, fuck! and just, like, trucked it. And, like, nearby, there had been, you know, one of those spots where you had to open up a grate and go into a room, and then there was another small hole to exit the room, and you come out behind some crates and shit. And so I just went and hid in there, and he just kept running back and forth, and every now and then
shooting his legs.
every now and then I'd lob a grenade out there. And eventually kill him. But
the 2 best weapons to use against a Big Daddy is the crossbow and the grenade launcher.
Yeah.
'Cause holy fuck, man.
yeah.
The grenade launcher, especially once you... another question I'm going to have for you in a second is the research. Because the research, man, is so fucking critical. Like, that shit helps out so much. Like, if you... I can't remember which enemy it is, but, like, if you research an enemy so many times, you get this active camouflage, where if you stop moving, you just completely go invisible to the
like, I know
enemy.
that was one of the options that you could buy and use it for, like, your combat, one of your combat
Really?
things.
You can buy it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But yeah, that shit was really nice, especially for taking out, like, those insanely fucking hard splicers.
I mean, unless that's on the second one that I've already started.
It could be.
But
like one of my favorite tactics, especially in the later part of the game when you go down, like, the big reveal has already happened, and you're in that, like, train station way. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All the, like, broken trains. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, like, there'd be, like, a whole bunch of fucking splicers in that little area, and the one that gave me the most trouble on Survivor was the gun ones. The gun ones are fucking ridiculous. The gun splicers. So what I would do is I'd, like, go in there, give myself enough distance so I know I'm confident that I can pull off a headshot, and then just stop moving, and then just wait for him to slowly come by, and then just hit him in the head with a bolt, because it's a one-hit kill, which is fucking satisfying.
So here's stepping back a little bit. Like, here's what my PTSD moment was.
Yeah.
Because the last game that I played similar, you know, at least in tone anyway, like, you know, being, you know,
Survival horror.
having some survival, some jump scares, all that shit, was fucking Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And so the first few times that I heard a Big Daddy, I was like, fuck, I gotta get out of here!
Yeah.
I was like, wait, no, I'm not playing Resident Evil.
Not Mr. X. It's alright.
It's not Mr. X, I'm good.
I don't know, man. It's like one of the absolutely most unique places for a video game to be set in. And I can't imagine a world without this game anymore. Just because it's so fun. And it sets such a precedence for story building and, you know, like in building a world and everything. So how did you feel? Again, spoilers. How did you feel about the Andrew Ryan reveal at the middle part of middle part of the game?
Well, so I'm trying to remember what happened because I'm already kind of.
So the majority of the game, you're being
the second one.
you're being led along by a guy named Atlas,
right?
And you're seeing all of these posters of, like, who is Atlas? You know, Atlas almost kind of seemed like this hero for the working man,
right?
You know, because they're, regardless of how Andrew Ryan expected things to go, they still kind of devolved into some of the shittier things of what happens on the surface. So, you know, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, basically. So Atlas was kind of like this scapegoat, for lack of a better term,
right?
For the you know, the upper echelon of people of Rapture, where he's getting in there and he's providing hope for the lower classmen. So this entire time you're getting led along by this little old Irish guy named Atlas,
right?
and his family gets killed in this, like, by Andrew Ryan.
Right.
So you go into this little part, it's like one of the very beginning parts of the game, where there's like this huge submarine, and Atlas is saying that his family's on there.
Right.
And Andrew Ryan blows it up, and he's like, oh, you know, my family and shit. Plays it off really well. And then, but there's something that you never really kind of picked up on until it just slaps you in the fucking face. He says, would you kindly a lot.
Oh, right.
He says it a lot. And so they're kind of just like leaving these little breadcrumb trails everywhere, like kind of.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like I did notice. I was like, "That's why does he always say that? That's kind of weird."
All the time.
He kind of. When I remember first playing the game, I was like, "Oh, okay, he's just like a."
He's an Irish dude.
He's a cool little Irish dude. He's just maybe oh, would you kindly like.
Yeah, like even if you don't consciously take note of it, you notice it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, the way that I played it is that, like, I was like, yeah, he says it a lot, but it never was, like, grating or anything like that.
Right.
I just was like, okay, it's just
like, that was
saying.
just his style. It's the way he talks, yeah.
And then that's kind of what made that moment so fucking gut-punching. Is, you're going up, this is like, it almost kind of feels like the end of the game, because you're going down, you're at the office of Andrew Ryan, it's really fucking hard at that point. Like, you go down and you open up his office and he's like, hey, come on in. If you want to fucking do this, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to rock your fucking world. And you're thinking, like, okay, fucking boss fight.
Yeah, like, I thought some shit was going to go
You
down.
had no idea. At least I didn't. I had no idea the first time I played this game. I was like, all right, cool, boss fight, blah, 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 walking, do. And then you go into this, you go up these stairs, you go in, hit this little thing that you've done a million times before, this little crawl space, and then you fall down into this room that's just plastered with pictures of you and your childhood and your life. And there's would you kindly in like red marker or something. It could be blood, I don't know. And there's 2 audio diaries right there. And it just starts like flashing all these pictures of you and your family on the farm and shit. And you're thinking like, what the fuck did I just stumble on? And then you listen to those audio diaries with Dr. Suchong, and they're saying like how they really fucked around with mind control. And you're like, oh boy, what are we getting into? Like what's going on? That audio diary is fucking haunting, by the way. I don't know if you remember it, but it's the one where Dr. Shuchong is experimenting with a boy and a puppy, and he's like, oh, you like the puppy, huh? You like the puppy? Break its neck. And the kid's just bawling. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to. And obviously it ends with the kid killing the dog, and it's like, fuck, bro.
Yeah, dude, that was like,
oh my god,
that was really fucking hard.
And so you continue on, and at this point you're still kind of thinking like, what the fuck? Like, okay, would you kindly? We've heard that all game.
Yeah. And
then you go into the office, and then it's
and he kind of just uses you to commit suicide.
I fucking love this part of the game.
Like, that was just crazy to me.
You walk in, everything's dark, right? Like, there's just like this little light illuminating the inside of Ryan's office.
Yeah.
And you walk up to it, and he's just sitting there playing putt. He's just practicing his putt, right?
He is playing putt.
Yeah. I don't know the terminology. Fuck off.
I believe the term is golf.
So, he's practicing his putt, right? That's the term, right?
No, that's fine. Practicing his putt makes sense.
Yeah, but
and he keeps repeating the same sentiment over and over again. I fucking hate you two.
Doing my old
I had to
laugh.
go
I can't.
I hope you two die in a fire someday.
I do too.
Oh, shit.
Podcast took a weird turn, guys. That's it for us tonight.
Gonna go to my therapist.
Would you kindly?
Yeah.
Light yourself on fire. Oh, Jesus, okay.
Oh, Jesus. So anyways, you go in there, and he's like, he keeps repeating the same thing over and over. He says, a man chooses, a slave obeys. And he just keeps saying that, like with little things sprinkled in throughout. And then he finally comes into the place where you're at with his golf club. And he says, like, He says, "Stop. Would you kindly? Stand. Sit. Would you kindly? Run. Would you kindly? Stop." You know, like, just controlling him, which is the character that you've been playing as. And so you're thinking, like...
Okay, green light, red light.
Yeah, obviously. And then he's like, a man chooses, a slave obeys. And then he's like, obey, kill. And he hands you the fucking putt.
Dude,
and you just start fucking beating the shit out of him, right? And he's like... The way that they go about this scene is so fucking cool. Because, like... They take apart like the idea that his face is fucked. Like he just got hit in the fucking jaw with a whatever it is, a golf club.
Hit me in my fucking face.
And so like his voice is all fucked up. He's like, a man chooses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obey. And then eventually you land the killing blow on him, and it's fucking wild. And so you're still kind of taking.
I don't remember, like, that whole part is like you're not controlling anything at that point, right?
Yeah, no,
okay.
it's a cutscene. Yeah,
That's right.
Which just kind of goes to further that point even
Well,
more
exactly,
that
like,
you were
you have
never
no
in
choice.
control.
Yeah.
Ever. This entire game, you were never in control. And so Andrew Ryan is dead. You walk around. And Atlas is still Atlas at this point, and he's like, "Hey, would you kindly go over there and, you know, put the key in the thing, blah blah blah." And then right after that, it has like this dramatic scene where it's like he just starts laughing out of control. Yeah, evil.
And then doesn't it like just go into like a kind of a flashback of him saying, "Would you kindly?" to all of these different scenarios.
Kind of, yeah. So at this point, Atlas is no longer Atlas. He is now Frank Fontaine. And
who they've alluded to a few times.
So he's been in a lot of audio diaries at this point, but yeah, like you go to like Fontaine Fisheries and Fontaine something. But you go to a lot of different places and you kind of only figure out, like at this point you can kind of only think that Fontaine is just a player. Like he's just not really there. He's kind of like a Suchong, where he's like he's kind of important but like not really, you know what I mean? It turns out that Fontaine was like a huge fucking rival of Andrew Ryan. Like there was a big deal. You know, like there was like during the loading screen, and I'm sure it's somewhere else, it's like a newspaper clipping of like, hey, Fontaine died during a shootout with Andrew Ryan, you know? And then it just basically, like, it's kind of cool because, like, the little audio thing in the corner, like, switches the picture to Frank Fontaine, and he, like, drops the Irish accent and everything. And he's like, you really fucking fell for the wife and child bit, didn't you? You know what I mean? Like,
he goes in on you.
Verbatim.
Yeah.
Verbatim.
He's, like, really goes in on you. And then after that, he's like, hey, thanks a lot. Go fuck off now. And then he sends all these fucking bots at you, which are insanely hard to run away from. And then at that point, there's like little sisters like, hey, you know, come on. And then like shows like a little pathway. And then you're falling. And then all of a sudden, you wake up in the nursery for all the little sisters that you saved. Mm-hmm. Which does change. If you've been harvesting the little sisters, it's empty.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Not only that, like you come back up. And not only do you come back up with a bunch of pods in front of you, like around you, and there are these people on like a submarine, and these splicers just go ham on all of these people, and it like pans over and opens up, and there's this giant warhead just like coming out of the. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Jeez.
So at this point, what's her name? I forget her name.
Oh, I don't remember.
Tenenbaum?
Tenenbaum.
Yeah.
So Tenenbaum takes you in and says, hey, you've been helped if you've been doing the good route, which I hope all of you did.
Mm-hmm.
I did both of them when I first played.
Yeah, so she takes you in and says, hey, you've helped out the little ones so much. We're going to help you out. So she managed to go in and fix you a little bit. So what ended up happening is that you're actually Andrew Ryan's illegitimate son with a prostitute. And you don't really get that until you go to my favorite part of the game, which is what the fuck is it? What's his name? Sander Cohen's part. The eccentric artist that has you kill people and then take their pictures and put them into... I love that part. So you don't really find out about the prostitute until you get to that part and you go into the strip club and it goes into an audio diary. It's like a ghost flashback about how, Andrew Ryan actually killed that woman. I can't remember which audio diary it is, but it basically confirms that you are Andrew Ryan's child. But you were stolen away. He basically wanted nothing to do with you, obviously. You're an illegitimate child. So what happened is that they took him with Suchong and Tenenbaum, and they basically just fucked your brain from the beginning. And so everything that happened was supposed to happen. Like, the plane was hijacked. You were supposed to go and do everything the way that it happened. Like, and that realization where it's like, you had no part in any of this. This was all, like, if you wouldn't have played, it still would have happened.
Yeah.
That's how it felt to me, where it was like, that realization was so surreal. I was like, that's fucking great storytelling, man.
You were conditioned completely to take part in everything you took part in.
Yeah. And so there's this really cool part where, so obviously she helped out with your brain.
Yeah,
like,
she makes you so that you no longer have that compulsion when he
only
says.
a little. Yeah,
well,
only a little, yeah.
Like, you no longer have to do what he says
Yep.
just because he uses the phrase.
Would you kindly?
Yeah, would you kindly. But he still has other power over you still.
I love how he says, he's like, would you kindly go get stepped on by a big daddy?
Yeah.
And he's like, I said, would you like, it's fucking great.
Yeah, and not only when he gets revealed as Frank Fontaine, like, the voice that he changes to is just like...
It's so cool. Fontaine's voice is so rad.
Yeah.
So from then on out, you're out to basically fix yourself. At this point in the game, you're going around trying to find different things to rid yourself completely of this mind control.
Then he, what does he say that makes your heart start slowing down?
So
he
says code yellow.
That's right.
He says code yellow, and he's like, I basically just told your heart to stop beating, but the heart is he says it's a delicate muscle or something. It's something like that. And so basically what happens is that periodically throughout that level, your health will continue to decline.
Your max health.
Your max health. And so you have to go around to different places and find these little potions and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There's a cool little part where it's like, it's fucking with your genetic code, so like your plasmids are all fucked up. So like you don't have control over them at all. Like periodically it'll just switch to one that you don't even fucking have.
That was fun and frustrating, but like it was such a fun little part though.
I'll tell you right now, I wanted to die. On Survivor, it did not fucking. It was not fun.
I bet. Yeah, I can imagine that would not.
Going against the big daddy, and I have electroshock, and then all of a sudden I have bees. I'm like, fuck me.
I loved the bees though.
The bees were cool, man, but they didn't work at all on the big daddies.
No, I'm sure they wouldn't.
So you go in there and you go to become a big daddy. How did you think about that? So
that I don't know. That kind of fucked with me. I was like, what? I'm gonna become a big daddy, and then Fontaine's fucking with your head, and he's like, she's trying to fucking turn you into what she wants you to be. Yeah. There's no going back from this. Yeah. If you do this, you're done.
Yeah, like it's over.
Well, so if you look at one of the procedures that you have to do you have to fuck up your voice box. Mm-hmm. There's like this thing that like clamps you together, and it's like this little drill that like is throat level, and will go and fuck up your throat, and it's all bloody and shit, like it's been done, like no one ever fucking cleaned it.
Yeah.
Like, and after that, like, you don't make noises or anything like that. I don't, as far as I know, the only time that the character talks is in the very beginning. But, yeah, it's fucked up. So you gotta find that. You gotta find the pheromones. Boots. Oh, yeah, you gotta find the entire suit. Yeah. Which took me fucking forever to find a helmet. I don't know why. I just was like, where the fuck is the helmet? This should be the title.
Where the fuck is the helmet?
So, and then you gotta find the pheromones that attract the little sisters and blah, blah, blah. And then you go about where you go and protect a little sister. You go on a little route, like a training thing. I don't really... I think it's just like to get enough Adam to bring out Fontaine. I can't remember. So, after that comes my not-so-favorite part of the game, which is the ending boss fight. Mm-hmm. It feels very out of place. In a game that's so tightly woven around enemies, the pre-established enemies that you've already fought time and time again, it just feels really weird. I don't know, and I utterly fucked him. Yeah. I don't know what it was. I always had problems with that boss fight. On Survivor, I don't know why, I literally took his mom downtown to Pound Town. Like, I fucked him, bro. Like, I didn't use anything but the grenade launcher. And I had full frag, proximity mines, and what's the other one?
The heat-seeking
Heat-seeking.
Well, see,
I fucked him, bro. It's not even funny.
I went into it with, not a ton of ammo and stuff. But, I don't know. I kept getting fucked on the part where he calls the bots.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I mean, they've only got a timer. I could just outrun the timer.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of ran around the exterior of the room until they left. And then I was like, all right, cool.
So another benefit of doing research is you can do research on the bots.
Yeah.
And you get to a certain level of research with the bots where you can just shock them and then immediately run up to them and press square and it auto-hacks them. Mm. So that's what I did. So not only did I have my grenade launcher fucking barrage that I was doing to him, I also had every single one of those fucking things going at him at the same time.
Hell yeah.
That shit was really cool.
That's cool.
I don't know. It's just kind of out there. It's the most video game thing about this game.
Yeah, but to a point it kind of makes sense because... you've been
He's a roided out freak at this point.
Yeah, and you've been doing all of this stuff at his behest, and now you're loose, and so of course you're going to go confront him.
Yeah.
So that it makes sense that
narratively speaking, it makes sense. Yeah, I just think that the way that they go about it was a little weird.
Yeah.
That's just my thing.
Right. No,
and then
makes sense. I get you.
After that, after you beat his ass nonstop, you get the ending. The ending is pretty good. So, depending on which one you get. Mm-hmm. The good ending, I feel is very wholesome. It is the canon ending. The bad ending is not. There's Hitler shit in the bad ending. I could be wrong with that, but I haven't seen the bad ending in a long time. But, basically you just take over Rapture. And so you're the new Fontaine. And you're just an asshole. But the good ending is really kind of cool because it's hey, it focuses on the little sisters and hey, you saved them. You gave them the option to either stay or go. Because in the end, it's shown that they're giving you the key to Rapture. Hey, this is yours now, and you declined. So you go, and it shows a little thing of them emerging in a bathysphere, and it's filled with little sisters. And then it goes kind of through this little montage of one going to school, one getting married, one having children, and then it finally ends the image that it ends on is your hand is all withered on a hospital bed, and
because you're old as fuck.
Yeah, well you die.
Yeah,
you're dead. So but it's it turns over, and it shows all the little sister hands going onto your hand. It's just very wholesome.
Yeah,
I think it's
super sweet.
It's a great fucking ending to a super dark and dire game. What is everyone's favorite part of this game?
I really liked the just the going around of what's that one place where you have to put the photos.
Yeah, it's I can't remember
the theater.
It's Sander Cohen's place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That part I just liked the missions in that part. They were just fun to me, and they weren't too hard. They weren't too crazy, but just that little story on its own was way cool.
Well, it's kind of cool because it isolates itself from the rest of the game. Because at this point, Sander Cohen fucks with your radio, so Atlas can't talk to you at all, or
right.
So Andrew Ryan or Atlas can't talk to you at all. It's just Cohen. So Cohen's in there saying hey, I'm gonna let you go. I'll let you go and do whatever you want to do. I need your help. Create your masterpiece. And this is my favorite part of the game too. So I'm just gonna get it out of the way. So basically, this guy is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like, way more than everyone else. You know? This guy was nuts before everyone went nuts, you know? Like, there's a part where you walk up into his little office and he's like, I'm not ready! You know, like, I cannot be seen! You know, like, stuff like that. Just totally freaking the fuck out. And you had no idea that that was even his room. You know what I mean? So there's, basically, he's like, he wants you to help create his masterpiece. But his masterpiece is a little fucked up. Because you have to go around and kill all of his proteges. And take, like, there's this one part. It's the first part when you're walking in and the guy's playing piano and he's like, now do this, now do this, now do this. And he's like, oh, you messed up. And he's like, Cohen, let me go, you sick fuck. And then it just blows up. Like the piano blows up. And he's like, hey, go take a picture of him. And you're thinking like, what the fuck? So you go and get your camera and you take a pic. And he's like, all right, now meet me in the foyer. And so you go down and he's like, put the picture on there. And what's fucked up is that like there's all these like statues of, but they're real people. I don't know how it works, like if they're frozen or what. But they're all like in poses holding different portraits, right? And so each portrait is a picture of one of his proteges that you have to go kill, which is insanely fucked up. And every one of them has a personality. Like there's one that was like never really trusted Cohen to begin with, and he's in that icy part. So you walk in there, and then he freezes you, and he's like, oh, you know, like you hear his audio diary and hear when he's sane, and then you come across him like face to face and hear like just how fucked up he is. Like just his voice goes like super dark and everything.
Cool thing about those statues is like when you shoot at them, they bleed.
Yeah, or when you whack them with the wrench. Yeah. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. So basically you create this masterpiece for him, and then he has this grand entrance where he's like walking down the stairs, and it's
confetti
playing
and fucking fireworks and
so shit. At that point you can kill him, but if you don't, it unlocks something later in the game. And I don't know, did you kill him?
I killed him.
I think I killed him.
Because my thinking is like this guy's got to go, you know. Like, I'm the exterminator, you know.
Well, see, I figured if I didn't kill him, he'd come after me.
And he kind of does. So he just comes down and he's, you know, like just glancing at it, but he ends up unlocking those two chests. They're chests, but they have like glass over them.
Yeah,
he'll come over and unlock both of them for you. There's the really cool part, too, where you're, like, halfway done with his masterpiece, and he just has a fucking freak out, and he's like, fucking doubters, you know, and he just, he's, like, having a little bitch fit, and he sends all these fucking splicers for you, and it's playing that classical song that if we play it, we'll get fucking hit, but I can't remember what the name of it is. It's like, if you heard it, you know exactly what it is. It's just really cool. Like, I'm beating people to death to classic opera.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah. You know, which is cool. And so the cool part about not killing Cohen is that when you're going into, it's after, you know, the fall of Ryan, and you're going into like, you know, that place that has all of the famous people's apartments. Like there's Tenenbaums, there's Suchongs and all that shit. There's a Cohen one, and it's only unlocked if you didn't kill Cohen. So you go in there, there's a bunch of audio diaries in there and shit, and there's actually 2 trophies connected to this. There's a trophy for finding him, finding his apartment, and going into like finding the secret part of his apartment. Because you go up into this guy's room and it's fucked. Like his mask is everywhere, like above his bed and everything. Like there's a big giant one above his bed.
Secret compartment.
Yeah, exactly. And then so you get a trophy for that, and then there's also you have to fight him because he like takes it really kind of poorly that you broke into his house.
As you would.
Yeah, so you fight him.
Well, am I the asshole?
And then if you take a picture of his dead body, you get a trophy ding that says irony on it. Yeah. And I just really love that shit.
That's awesome.
Cohen is obviously my favorite character because he's so fucking unhinged in every way.
Oh, yeah. See, I actually really liked the part where you're suiting up as the Big Daddy because
It's cathartic.
Like, well, it's just a really cool part, and on top of that, you have that whole internal wrestling match of which one do I trust? Like, because I mean, obviously, you're not gonna trust fucking Fontaine.
Yeah.
But like, do you necessarily trust that he's not telling the truth about Tenenbaum's intentions?
He definitely sows those seeds where it's like, do you really trust her? Because she's kind of the one that fucked you up in the first place.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So, like, it's, obviously Fontaine used you this whole time.
Yeah.
But, like, she's the one who made that possible.
Yeah.
And so it's just a really cool part where you're like, who the fuck do I trust? Like, I just really enjoyed that.
Yeah. That part for me is kind of weird because it's like you're being turned into a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And like the audio diaries that go into like how the Big Daddies were, became what they became is, like they took disenfranchised people of, like poverty in Rapture and like took them and said, hey, exciting opportunities, and like fucked them.
Yeah.
Like it's really fucked up. Like they took poor people and it's fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Like those audio diaries like do more than half of the storytelling in the game.
Well, and that's the thing, like that's historically speaking what tends to happen.
Yeah.
And so
it's just kind of sad, man.
Oh yeah.
Nick, what's your favorite part?
I would say probably either the Atlas Frank Fontaine reveal or I have a couple that I really like when you first encounter the spider splicer.
Oh, Jesus.
Or when we kind of talked about this a while back when you first encounter when you're just behind the window of the surgeon and he's freaking out.
Yeah. God, I love that part.
Ugly!
Yeah, that part's fucking rad. The spider splicer reveal is kind of really wild too because at this point you're just mowing people down and you don't really have it's just not really a problem, but then the spider splicer comes over and he's just too fucking hard for you to beat. Like he's like doing crazy. It's a woman actually. She's doing way too much damage to you. She's you're not doing shit for damage to her even though you're using like a fucking shotgun. So that it kind of like leads into that research thing really well where it's like, hey, you need to unlock some damage boosters by researching this thing.
And the whole reveal is like it's kind of that reveal is kind of in there with the when you obtain the camera.
Yeah.
Because you have to take the pictures of the spider slicers.
Little moments that I really love when you're coming up from the bathysphere in the very beginning. It's all dark and fucked up, and you just see these two glowing hooks.
Yeah.
Like walking towards someone, and you see the silhouette of a guy like backing away with his hands up, saying like, "Hey, you don't have to do this. Please don't do this." And then all of a sudden, you just see these two glowing hooks, and they just go into this guy. And then he gets lifted up and then like outward, just, oh fuck, dude. And you hear like the guts like spilling on the floor.
And then they start, is that where they start like trying to get into the bathysphere?
Yeah, dude. And he's like, would you kindly pick up that two-way radio right there? Yeah, it's fucking amazing. And then my other little part is when you get the shotgun. Because you like walk into this room and there's just a little spotlight on the shotgun, and then after that, like just from every which way, fucking splicers are just heading your way.
Oh, and then another part that I really like is when you before you kill the first Big Daddy, and like Tenenbaum's like up on the balcony, like telling you what to do when you're behind that window, and it just fucks up that dude.
Yeah, dude. Like memorable moments like that where.
The way that the game brings attention to things is really unique, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gives it its own almost theater to introduce it. Just like you said, how the shotgun had just the spotlight.
Well, and the way they use periphery is fucking cool too, because you'll be like that one part where you're walking through the tube and you see like in a tube like further out
Yeah.
is where you first see a Big Daddy and Little Sister.
Yeah.
You know, like, so, and that's not even what you're focused on, but obviously, like, you immediately are like, what the fuck? And
Yeah,
like, so,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's off in the periphery, but, like, it's so noticeable that you're not, no one's gonna miss that.
Yeah. Well, speaking to Nick's point, the first time that you come across a Little Sister, like, when you're, you know, coherent, because the first time you come across a Little Sister, you're, like, all on the ground, and you're, like, dying and shit. But you're, like, crawling above, like, on these light fixtures, and then Atlas is talking about it, and it's, like, showing you, like, it's guiding your eye to the Little Sister, you know, stabbing a dead corpse to get at the Adam out of it, right? Which Adam, we haven't even talked about Adam. But I'm not gonna fucking, you know, we won't go into it because it's so it's so long-winded. But he's like, that's no little girl. That thing is a fucking monstrosity created by someone who doesn't want to take responsibility for it, you know. And then you eventually find your way down, and that Little Sister's still there collecting Adam, but the door opens and a gun splicer comes out. And he does a little creepy little walk and puts his fingers up to his, you know, like to shush her. And then, like, just fucking jumps at her and just conks her on the head with the gun. And you're like, fuck, dude, that's a little girl. You're like, at the point you're thinking, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And this game's, like, no bar. You're like, violence towards children. That's fucking weird. And then the fucking Big Daddy comes in. And he just, like, does his scream. And then, the little way that he walks in that point. Because, like, every fucking step has, like, weight to it. Mm-hmm. And then eventually he, like, gains speed and just fucking whacks it, like, hits this guy with a drill arm against the wall, and then picks him up and then just starts picks him up by the head and just starts fucking bashing him against the window that you're on the opposite side of. So you're like, what the fuck, dude? You're saying, like, I gotta fight one of those fucking things? You know, like, it's amazing and how it tells the player, hey, that thing's gonna fuck you up. Like, you gotta be ready. You know what I mean?
I loved Su Chong's death as well.
To speak to your point from earlier, Derek, like in the very beginning of the game, and to yours, Cole, when you're first encountering that Little Sister and Atlas is like, that's not a girl, that's a monster. And then as soon as that scene ends, Tenenbaum's like, hey, no, you need to save those. And you're just like, wait, what the fuck do I do? Like, you don't know. Mm-hmm. And then later on, when you finish the game, because you know it all pieces together. Because Atlas is telling you those are monsters. It's like, yeah, because
you made them that.
Yeah, you want me to kill them. You know.
Yeah. I really love this game. I had the if you can't fucking tell,
right?
I did end up platinuming the game, which is like one of my top games I've always wanted to platinum. It wasn't that hard at all. Really, it's pretty much just like, you just gotta be a save freak. You know, just save all the fucking time. I saved so many times that my game was like, hey, there's no more room. So you should probably, like, delete a few of them. Yeah, I really loved it. And, like, collecting the audio diaries and, like, fully immersing yourself in that world is definitely something I recommend. I wholeheartedly love this game. This is top 5 for me. I'd say probably even top 3.
Nice. So that concludes our time with Bioshock. Tune in next week when we talk about Bioshock 2.
The Bioshockening.
This time, it's Big Daddy personal. As always, you can follow us on social media.
On Facebook at the Nerd Corporation, a podcast.
On Twitter and Instagram at Nerdcore Podcast.
You can shoot us an email at nerdcorppodcast@gmail.com.
And if you want to explore more of Rapture with us, please subscribe to our Patreon. Patreon.com/nerdcorppodcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to extra content and bonus episodes. And if you can't make a monthly commitment, consider donating to our PayPal. PayPal.com/nerdcorppodcast. We want to have the best equipment, best prizes, and best merch for you. So for the Nerd Corporation, my name is Eddie Lyon.
I'm Cole Simper.
I'm Nick Lewis.
And I'm Derek Reese.
Signing off.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Go fuck yourself.